Imagine waking up in another world. No coffee, no internet, and surrounded by people who solve everything with punches and swords. Now imagine you're Kim Gun, a professional hitman with perfect aim, a cigarette always hanging from your lips, a scar on your face, and a soft spot for a dog that looks like a meatball with legs. Welcome to Murum, where every bald old man thinks he's a martial arts master, and every duel ends in a crater or a lecture. Here, bullets and blades fly like bad stand-up jokes, and the fate of the world rests on a man who just wanted to buy snacks for his dog. Amid gunfights, crazy sex, and rituals no one understands, our savior wants only one thing: to go home with his little dog in one piece. But until then, he's turning this world into a shooting range full of sarcasm, gunpowder, and a touch of deadly cuteness. Our story kicks off with someone crawling out of a dark spot. This person looks up and says, "The weather's pretty nice," lighting a cigarette. The main character, sporting a scar on his face, hears someone asking where he popped out from. A blonde dude is crawling on the ground, asking if he's leaving, totally clueless about what he's done. Breathing heavy, he says another guy is coming to take him out. Our main guy stays quiet while the other one insists there's still time to say sorry. In a serious vibe, the protagonist fires a shot, saying the guy on the ground is way too loud. Out of nowhere, a tiny puppy barks next to him, grabbing his attention. The chubby pup rolls around on the ground, looking super cute. With a grin, the older dude asks if his little buddy missed him. Looking down, he wonders if the puppy's hungry and suggests they grab a bite, revealing his name is Kim Gun. As he walks away, it's revealed his codename is Battle Demon, the top assassin. He strolls past a street where a kid asks if he can skip school, and the mom says no, promising a treat if he behaves. Our main guy watches the scene and thinks about getting a snack for his little buddy. Suddenly, a spam message about Murum pops up on his phone, making him think it could be a new mission. A bit later, the sun shines down on a regular convenience store. He squats down, asking what his pup wants to eat, and decides to buy everything in sight. Out of nowhere, someone next to him says they need a second. Confused, our main guy wonders what this mumbling is about. The dude talks about work, and Kim asks if he's grumbling or chatting with him. Then the standing guy confirms that yes, catching Kim's attention. The assassin with hair in his eyes says it's a perfect time to take him out, just as planned. Soon after, he waves goodbye to number one, who can only curse after that. Suddenly, a shot rings out while our main guy thinks this world is wild for dreaming. He says it was a pointless death, but then contradicts himself, saying he got taken out in the end, but he'll still get revenge on that fool in hell. Drifting into darkness, he wonders what'll happen to his puppy. When he opens his eyes, he sees his cute doggo. Suddenly, a shiny bald head of some random dude pops up. Our beloved gunslinger jumps up, headbutting this strange figure that just appeared. With his hands on his head and totally confused, our main guy asks if he just kicked the bucket, since he's sure he got shot in the head. Worried about his puppy, he feels relieved to see it right by his side. Suddenly, the monk stands up, saying he finally woke up after ages. With a hand on his nose, the bald dude claims the savior has finally answered his call. Looking around, our main guy notices a bunch of other people shouting that they believe in him. Completely baffled, he freezes, questioning all this noise. Then someone steps in front of him, saying, "It's a pleasure to meet the savior." This same person introduces himself as the first elder of the Die of the Bloody Brotherhood. Our main guy stares at him, questioning this savior stuff since he has no clue what's going on or how this works. But the bald dude just says they have a mission. The young man must conquer the Murum world. The gunslinger looks up totally lost about this conquering thing, and so he wonders where he even is after all. Soon after, Kim realizes this isn't the world he knows. In fact, it's a place called Murum in another dimension that he's supposed to conquer. Apparently, he got summoned, but it's still super weird. He stays quiet, watching all those people staring at him with big smiles. Soon, those smiles fade when our hero says they're all nuts. Desperately grabbing his phone, he wonders why he was picked, and realizes there's no signal here. Standing up defiantly, the assassin asks to be sent back before he starts dropping some serious words, but is shot down by saying he's already doing that. Then he insists he needs to find the guy who took him out and must go back, confusing the elder, who thinks the man isn't his savior. Our main guy says he isn't, and that the elder seems to have lost it, telling him to go back home. Suddenly, laughter fills the air. Someone comments on being proud of the protagonist's attitude, saying, "This is how a true savior should act." Looking back, he sees someone coming up claiming that in fact, the elder isn't bald, but has just never had hair. Everyone gasps at the newcomer's savage burn. The elder says he shouldn't have talked to him like that. Soon, the new character rolls up in front of the protagonist, saying he shouldn't be so insensitive and needs to get his head straight. If he's not careful, he might end up biting the dust without even knowing it. Thus, the leader of the blood cult, Sehukyeong, makes his grand entrance. The gunslinger grins confidently, claiming it's the old dude who's messing up since they're the ones who summoned him. Standing tall, he warns the elder to watch his mouth because one slip could mean death at the hands of the #1 assassin. The elder rushes in, begging the savior not to mess with the cult leader. But surprisingly, the guy with the tied hair says it's all good and that he'll handle this. Then he throws down a challenge. If Kim wins, he gets to be the cult leader and can do whatever he wants. The elder tries to drop some wisdom, saying this is a terrible idea, but gets cut off by the gray-haired man. The gunslinger insists he's not looking for that, just wants to go home. Then, out of nowhere, a heavy pressure makes him shut up. With wide eyes, he's totally lost on where it's coming from. Soon, he realizes the danger when he sees the elder ready to unleash hell if he loses. He thinks he's never felt such fear of death, even as an assassin, but tries to chill since the guy in front of him is just an old man. Called the ghost of the fight, he claims to fear nothing. When asked if he's ready, the protagonist shoots back that he doesn't need to prep for an old dude. The guy in front of him smirks, saying they'll see how cocky he is, and Kim fires back, saying this isn't a battle of words, giving him the chance for the first hit. In the distance, the elder nods, saying he won't back down. Then he vanishes in a blink, like a whisper in the wind. Quickly, the protagonist's face goes pale as he realizes. Before him, the old man appears like a bullet, ready to throw a punch. That fist, heavy as a wrecking ball, comes flying at him. Soon the impact slams into him, sending him flying backward. The explosion of energy from the hit smashes Kim against the wall. Upon crashing, he wrecks the place, which cracks under the force of the blow. A massive explosion goes off, showing just how strong the old man is. Freaked out and dazed, the protagonist can only spit blood. Feeling the sting of the hit, the cult leader strolls over, saying he can't even dodge the simplest attacks. Then he questions if he's really his savior, calling him pathetic and saying he's not even worth killing, until something catches his eye. It's the protagonist's puppy, trying to bite the aggressor's leg. Panicking, the protagonist yells for his dog to run since it's dangerous, uselessly. He tries to warn them not to touch his pet or they'll regret it. But looking to the side, he sees his buddy and family flying, crashing into the wall. With a shrill scream, he sees his family sprawled on the ground. The gray-haired man orders them to toss the protagonist into the underground prison and feed the animal to the wolves, which the bald man gets. With a roar of rage, the gunslinger declares it's not just a pet, but his family. He warns that if they touch his puppy, the man will definitely meet his end. The man turns, questioning if he really thinks he's that strong. Our protagonist stands tall and asks who he thinks is the strongest in the world. The bald man, just annoyed, replies that he's only provoking his master. The leader of the sect looks at the provocateur, his attention snagged by something weird. The bald man doesn't get it, but the leader acknowledges it's an unusual object. Our protagonist then declares that whoever's got a weapon is the strongest. A shot rings out and the gunpowder's glow fills the air. Both watch the projectile fly. The gray-haired man with a goatee wonders what the point of that thing is. Suddenly his head gets pierced by the shot. The elder, known as Bald Eagle, questions what just happened, shocked to see the leader bleed. The leader's body drops, creating a shockwave. Freaked out, they can't wrap their heads around what just went down. Confused, the man with the goatee tries to call the leader, but soon he screams furiously, ordering everyone to attack as they can't let the assassins slip away. With battle cries, they all charge toward the protagonist. He, however, says they can all come at once. After all, he's still got one more weapon in his arsenal. Sounds of gunfire boom like thunder. The bullets fly toward the attackers. He says they all messed with the wrong person. A massacre kicks off with Kim Gun in action. The casualties jump from dozens to hundreds. The shots are fired with precision, always hitting the head. The bald elder hears cries for help as the others try to take him down. We then flash back to the past where a dude tries to warn that they've already lost and says sorry. Our main character starts questioning everything he believes. Without waiting for a reply, he warns that it's all about grace with a side of chill. A punch lands on the dude who drops like a sack of potatoes. The strong hand gets ready to throw another hit. Our main character, rocking short hair, says that revenge is on the menu too. He's kind of bummed because they went down way too fast. Out of nowhere, someone shouts at the young man. He asks if he thinks he's the strongest now that he's all alone. He points out that there's always someone who can't be taken down. But our main character finds it all super silly. He asks if the dude even knows him or if he's just playing the fool. He wonders if he really wants to find out who's the strongest. Then a sound as loud as a firecracker makes him jump. He looks down, feeling a sharp pain hit him. The guy in front says no matter how strong he thinks he is, he'll never win a fight with just his fists. Kneeling, our main character asks why he's doing this. With a smirk, he says he should have talked instead of shooting his leg. The dude, grinning, claims he's just being dramatic since the shot was a light one. Our main character curses under his breath. The guy says it's wild how life can change with just a flick of a finger. Our main character, sweating from the pain, asks what the dude wants from him. With a red glare and a sly grin, the bald guy says he wants his help and will make him the strongest dude ever. The sun glints off the barrel of our main character's gun. The bald elder looks up as a bullet zips through his arm. The protagonist asks if he really gets who's the strongest here. Desperate, the bald man promises to give him anything. Just spare his life. Time ticks by, and the elder asks how comfy the seat is. With a daring look, our main character grips the gun. Now the cult leader. His little dog has leveled up to vice leader. A bullet whizzes past the ear of the grinning bald man. He feels the heat from the wound. Annoyed, the gunslinger asks if he's lost it, just wanting to go home. Realizing he needs to deal with the one who shot him, he thinks this might be impossible. The elder says he has no clue how to go back since there's no way. Our main character, pretending to be all cheerful, sings that he really doesn't know and should have said so earlier. He points the gun at the bald man's temple, threatening to send him to the old leader's lap in hell. The old man kneels, begging for a few more days to fix things. Fear is written all over his face as he pleads for more time. Irritated, our main character pinches his nose and tells the elder to scram. The bald man bolts, terrified, while our main character wonders if he should just end him. Soon he plops down and chills, questioning the whole situation since his phone's not working. Suddenly his phone buzzes. He opens it, shocked, thinking it was broken. He spots a weird message from someone offering a chance to conquer the Muram world. He recognizes it as the same message he got before dying, which he thought was total spam. As he reads, irritation bubbles up. He starts typing, saying he doesn't get why he can't respond. He just wants out of this mess. The message dares him to survive in Muram in another dimension. He replies that Kim must complete a mission, which only annoys him more, wondering what it's about. The message explains that conquering Muram is key to escaping. If he doesn't finish the mission in a year, he'll lose something precious, his adorable little dog. Our main character squeezes his head in frustration, while the message adds that the dog can't die because it's too cute. Wishing him good luck, the message wraps up. Stunned and stressed, he screams in despair and anger throughout the cult hall. Then Kim opens a door and asks if the bald man is around. He hears him say he's a stinky one and doesn't respect the elders, claiming if he had known, he would have sent him back already. Suddenly, our main character's shadow looms, and he asks if the elder is traveling, making him scream in panic. In tears, the bald man tries to explain that he was talking about his son and that the bag was to figure out how to send him back. He begs not to be killed, rambling about the perks of keeping the old man alive. Our main character tries to say that's not what he came to chat about, but the bald man's fear cuts him off. Irritated, he tells the elder to shut it and listen, to which he apologizes, scared for his life. The protagonist clears his throat and says he's totally down to do what he mentioned earlier. The guy's confused by what the protagonist just said. He thinks they're about to take over the Muram world completely, but the bald eagle, face glowing with joy, says it's what he expected from his epic savior and leader, promising to get the squad ready ASAP, but our protagonist throws in a condition for that. A bit later, the old elder calls everyone to listen up. He announces he's going to share the leader's orders, saying they're no longer the Sacred Blood sect, but now they're the sect of Mongu, rocking the symbol of the cutest vibes ever. The disciples start to celebrate, though it's kind of forced, the name of the new sect. One of them wonders how he can escape this, thinking it's all dumb. But then he spots the puppy and instantly changes his mind, realizing he has to love it unconditionally for its pure adorableness. One dude out of nowhere asks the little dog to marry him. Meanwhile, they get the scoop that the leader of the demonic cult has switched up and even changed his name. An old man checks out the view while hearing that the sect is now called the Mongu cult. He, the head of the Kunlun sect, figures a new era is on the horizon. Curious, he asks about the new leader, and they say he's using some wild demonic arts. The old man, intrigued, asks if that's legit, and the other guy says it's just rumors. But everyone who saw it claims that every move he makes leads to someone biting the dust. In shock, the elder asks about the strange art and learns it's all about a snap of the fingers. Apparently, the new cult leader just flicks his middle finger. Confused, the old man asks if that's really it, but the kneeling dude can only guess. Somewhere in the Mongu clan, someone yells that this news makes zero sense. After all, our protagonist took down the last leader and is already the new face of leadership without the elder's thumbs up. Quickly, the second elder jumps in, saying the strongest person gets to be the leader. The redhead shouts that he's not cool with this whole savior thing, but the oldest warns him to watch his mouth, since he's the current leader of the cult. Another guy slams his fist on the table, showing his disappointment, impressing everyone around him. This chubby dude boldly claims he made huge sacrifices for the cult. Humiliated, he says he gave up sleep, food, and fun and still wasn't consulted. The most sensible one says if he's got complaints, he better prove himself by showing his strength. But he needs to remember that the new leader took down the last one, and if he's not careful, he might end up 6 feet under. The redhead turns to the door, and everyone follows him. Sensing someone coming, it's the first elder who announces that this is the new leader of the cult. The three quickly stand up to show respect for the new authority. Suddenly, the fourth elder spots something near our protagonist, the adorable little puppy that's tagging along. Bending down, he wonders how that tiny creature can be so cute, asking how the young man found such an adorable buddy. With a creepy grin, he says he'll take good care of the new little friend, but our protagonist cuts him off with a savage insult. Punching the elder in the face, he asks where he gets the nerve. The fourth elder hits the ground hurt, but our protagonist couldn't care less. With a clenched fist, he says they called him there, and all they do is clown him. As punishment, he orders the elder to keep his mouth shut in his presence, and asks if he got that. Then he questions why the elder isn't responding, and the fat man tries, but gets shut down. The first elder, sweating bullets, says they're about to kick off the council meeting, so the cult leader can casually start all this. Soon our protagonist asks for everyone's attention, and says they're about to start the conquest of Muram. But the redhead freaks out when he hears that if they don't hit their goal in a year, they'll have to take their own lives. Curiously, our protagonist notices that now no one wants to die. Then they start throwing out quick ideas to conquer Muram in a year. Someone raises their hand, calling out to the cult leader, ready to say it's impossible to conquer in such a short time. But our protagonist cuts him off, feeling like he's some kind of T, totally confusing him. Kim quickly explains that he was about to say it was impossible, and for that, he must be considered an idiot with a capital T. Confused, the elder wonders what this T even means. Suddenly, the musclehead slams his fist on the table, furious, saying he's had enough. Shouting, he claims that the more he hears, the more it sounds like total madness. He explains that he's making decisions without the cult's say-so, which is just not cool. He calls out the protagonist, saying that even though he took down the old leader, they can't just accept this. If they want to recognize him, they'll have to throw down for the leader spot. Irritated, the other responds that this is ridiculous since everyone was summoned to conquer Muram, and he'll show the elder what happens when you mess around. Our protagonist claims he trusts his words, but realizes the dude in front of him has a weird ability, just like the former leader. In the end, he doesn't have many bullets, so he'll need to use them wisely. With his head down, our protagonist reloads his weapon, confusing the elder, who thinks he's bowing out of fear. With a confident grin, the redhead says, Kim must have pulled some trick to beat the last leader, but that won't work on him. Confidently, the redhead strides toward Kim, while the first elder tries to warn his buddy not to do anything dumb. The redhead taunts our protagonist, asking if he's scared to face him. The elder, our protagonist, and even the little dog are all shocked by the bold move. Continuing the roast, he questions why he's being ignored and says the boy seems hesitant to fight. Our protagonist declares that this ends here and decides to take him down hard. But as he pulls the trigger, something wild happens. His weapon turns into his phone. He opens the device and reads something that totally grabs his attention. With a sinister smile, the man asks why he's not being attacked, acting like he's the villain in a movie. But our protagonist stands tall, questioning if he really wants to face him. With slow, confident steps, Kim shows he's not backing down. Soon he agrees to the fight, but with a special condition that our protagonist thought of to teach him a lesson. He says his position is on the line, so it'll be fun to have a special duel. The red-haired elder looks scared as the protagonist's killer vibe totally intimidates him. Elsewhere at night, people are buzzing about the duel between the elder and the leader. One of them thinks the new cult master is reckless. Most believe that Deng Wang is in position 5 because of his strength, but there's more to it. His greatest strength is flipping a situation where he's about to get wrecked into one where the enemy can't move from exhaustion. In the flashback, a disciple tries to attack him with everything he's got, but the elder just stands there thinking it's all too weak. Tenacity is the name of his technique, which lets him take even a tiger's attack. That's why he's known as the mobile fortress. Suddenly someone jumps into the convo saying, "These juniors know nothing." After all, the cult leader is truly terrifying, and he saw it firsthand. It was a chill morning with no clouds in the sky when the chaos hit. And suddenly, with a boom of thunder, the cult leader went down. That's when the real fight kicked off. As soon as our protagonist moved, a thunderous massacre unfolded. The chubby one was frozen, watching his buddies get taken out without mercy. Even though his opponent was just a weak old man, the dude didn't hesitate to finish him. At that moment, a perfect nickname popped into the fat guy's mind, the true demon of horror. The two who heard the nickname thought it was a savage burn. But suddenly they announced that the leader and the fifth elder were already on the scene. A true battle of the century was about to go down, the mobile fortress against the demon of horror. Promptly, the redhead clasped his hands and asked if the protagonist was ready because he was going to beat him senseless. Kim found that ridiculous, but it was expected. Everyone was ready to throw shade, at least until the first shot was fired. A disciple stated that the duel would be under the conditions set by the leader, a simple punch. The rules were clear. The opponents would take turns throwing punches, and the last one standing would win. It's important to note that the winner would decide whether the loser gets to live. Soon they decided who would start, but the redhead questioned if they had forgotten his title, reminding them that it was the mobile fortress. He wouldn't regret taking the first hit. Our protagonist thought the dude in front of him was totally off his rocker, but then he figured why not seize the moment. He warned that his main target was going to be his chest. The elder grinned, all smug, saying the other would totally regret spilling those beans. In a flash, all the muscles in his abs tightened up, bracing his chest. Fully pumped, he yelled for the protagonist to come at him with everything he had. But out of nowhere, a shot rang out, hitting the fifth elder right in the thigh, totally catching him off guard. The referee and the opponent went pale, shocked by the audacity of that dirty move. The tension was thick, and silence fell as blood poured from the redhead's leg. Our protagonist, confused, asked what everyone was staring at. The disciples thought it was just a loud bang, probably nothing to hurt the elder. But the wall came crashing down as he felt pain like never before. Everyone went quiet, listening to the guy on the ground complain that the protagonist said he'd aim for his chest. Annoyed, he accused him of pulling a fast one with such a cheap shot. Our dude with the gun looked down from above, all high and mighty, and smirked, claiming he had totally lied about where he'd aim, making the buff dude even angrier. In his head, the elder felt embarrassed in front of the cult members and knew he had to get up to save face. Sighing hard, he reminded himself to chill. After all, it was his turn, and he still had one good leg. His veins bulged as he declared, "The protagonist better get ready, 'cause his punch was going to pack a punch." The redhead said this strike was called the attack of a tiger, so he named it the tiger's fist in tribute. But before he could land that hit, another shot rang out, hitting his other leg. Once again, everyone was in shock, witnessing such a wild scene. Our protagonist, all chill, asked why they looked so horrified. The referee tried to explain that in this kind of duel you got to wait your turn, but Kim cut him off. He asked who made that rule, and if it was in the Constitution or something. If it was, he wanted the article and paragraph to back up that duel. The bald eagle elder thought even a demon would be scared of such a twisted personality. In his mind, the redhead knew he had to stand up, but he couldn't feel his legs while he heard our protagonist drop a saying from his world. You can survive a tiger's attack if you keep your wits, but that's not true. All you really need to survive against a tiger is a weapon. Soon, the elder tried to beg for mercy, justifying his survival, but Kim had already made up his mind. Then, we hear a sound like a gunshot, and the redhead shuts his eyes, waiting for the end. When he opens them, he sees Kim walking away, saying he's worth more alive than dead. In silence, the man watches this scene of unexpected kindness, his heart swelling with an incredible feeling. Scratching his nose, he realizes it's the start of a weird friendship. But he's freaked out since his bullets are gone, and he almost bit the dust. Suddenly, a notification sound perks him up. He checks his phone and sees he completed his mission to take down the fifth elder without killing him. But then, he remembers something important and asks Dadu if there are only 4 elders. The answer is 5 in total, and the third is Mie. Next, we see a real bloodbath with a single woman taking out several men. She gets the scoop on everything that went down while she was gone. Wiping her face with a towel, she thinks she was all alone trying to revive her cult. Still, this new guy managed to take down the old leader and the fifth elder, which gets her hyped to meet him. Everyone gears up and gets ready to bounce. Jin Huaran, the third elder, is pumped to meet the new leader of the cult. A few days later in the morning, the protagonist wonders why his dog is so grumpy. With his eyes wide open, he sees the cheerful face of the fifth elder wishing him good morning. Startled, Kim responds with a straight-up punch to the redhead's face, saying his ugly mug scared him. Then he explains that his fist moved on reflex, and the elder says he was on guard to make sure no one interrupted him. If anyone dared to mess with the protagonist, he'd go full savage. But Kim just tells the elder to bounce, feeling threatened, which bums out the redhead. Soon the leader asks why the bald dude is even here, and the answer comes back that he got called. A bit later, with the sun blazing overhead, the gunslinger kicks off the meeting and demands to know why he's the chosen one and why they should take over Muram. Right on cue, the second elder jumps in to explain. The Orthodox sects decided the blood cult was a major issue since they weren't vibing with their values or cultivation techniques. The problem spread, and they decided to attack, not caring about kids or the elderly. Because they were outnumbered, the blood cult got wrecked by both the Orthodox and non-Orthodox sects. The protagonist asks if they don't belong to either group, and the elder says they don't, sticking to their beliefs and staying neutral until the attack. Now, they want to unite the chaotic world of Muram under the protagonist's command, so everyone can chill in the peace he can bring. The elder tries to say that pulling this off in a year is impossible, but the gunslinger cuts him off, saying he doesn't care about peace among the cults, since he's not some Disney hero. He gripes that no country has pulled off something this wild, and asks again why he's the savior. The first elder, all tense, admits he doesn't know who summoned him. This just confuses the boy more, who learns that everything went down during the Muram Alliance attack. On that day, chaos rained down on the cult. The first elder tries to shout that he's just a simple servant, but the guy intimidating him points out he's clearly important, thanks to his flashy outfit. The man about to take him out doesn't notice a third figure creeping up. As the presence gets closer, the guy gets confused and asks where the newcomer popped up from, but one swift move from the unknown is enough to shut him up. The bald elder screams in terror when he sees that with a single hit, that dude twisted his head. In a desperate attempt to survive, the elder tries to play it cool, saying he's sick and doesn't have much time left. But he jumps when a weird scroll gets tossed his way. The unknown figure claims that at the right moment, the savior who will unite all of Muram will show up, and the elder needs to be ready for him. With the scroll in hand, the elder can only throw out questions. The shadowy figure quickly turns and says that once he reads it, everything will make sense. Our protagonist realizes this dude is a total mystery, but the elder spots something striking. The guy is as bald as he is. The protagonist hears this and thinks bald people must have a secret handshake or something. So, this man was the one who brought him to this world, but his goals are still a total question mark. Suddenly, an injured disciple stumbles in, saying he's got a problem that needs to be seen ASAP when they arrive. Our gunslinger wonders what's going on. The scene before him shows all the cult members brutally dead. The one responsible apologizes for the unexpected mess with the new cult leader, explaining he acted this way because they weren't allowed to enter. This dude is named Gaum Gopong, leader of the Phantom Sword sect. The protagonist asks what's up with the chaos. If it was just a misunderstanding, there wouldn't be so many bodies around. With his sword in hand, the man explains he was waiting for the perfect moment to take down the blood cult. When he found out the former leader got taken out by an outsider, he couldn't hold back. Now they've got a reason to hunt these losers down as prey. Annoyed by the chat, the protagonist says they want to claim an empty house. With a big grin, the vein-filled man says the young one is clever, but questions what he'll do now that he knows their plans. Kim shoots back, saying if he were clever, he'd already know what's coming. Someone behind the giant pipes up, saying there's no reason for the leader to take charge. The former leader is gone, and this axe giant will handle the boy. The protagonist freaks out seeing the size of the weapon and asks if he's really planning to chop off his head with that. Determined, the giant says it's obvious and will do it quick so the leader doesn't suffer. Kim watches him approach and thinks he's actually pretty fast. Suddenly, something catches the gunslinger's eye. He's no longer holding his weapon. Defenseless, he sees the monstrous figure about to end him. But then a weird sound rings out, and the giant jumps back, startled to see ketchup flying everywhere. The person defending our gunslinger says it's pure audacity to attack their boss right in front of them. The hefty elder claims the giant won't even leave a mark with that swing. Then the redhead chimes in, saying that going after the leader of the Mongu clan and treating him badly is one of the worst crimes ever. With all his rage, the musclehead throws a massive uppercut at the giant. The force of that hit was so wild that even the other clan members felt it shake their bones. With ketchup all over his hand, the redhead declares that their sentence is death. No questions asked. Behind them, Kim thinks the fifth elder has really outdone himself this time. If he plays his cards right, he could totally take over Muram. And it's not even a long shot. The leader of the attack says they picked the dumbest way to handle this mess. With a creepy grin, he tells the enemies to watch as their choices lead to their own downfall. Our protagonist, holding something in his hand, wonders why the old man talks so much and asks him to chill for a second. In the end, the gunslinger isn't looking for a fight everywhere, but he doesn't let anyone who wants a fight walk away. Both leaders lock eyes, ready to throw down. With the final order to wipe everyone out, the battle is about to kick off. Hearing the boss's command, both elders suddenly look way more serious. The redhead bolts forward, shouting that he's been waiting for this moment. Our protagonist realizes he's actually useful in situations like this. But looking at the hefty guy, he thinks maybe he's more useless than he thought. Striking a pose, the elder crashes to the ground, flexing all his muscles. With a wild grin, the fifth elder screams he's been holding back forever and tells them to come at him. The cult members charge toward the fortress, but the redhead dodges the first attack like it's nothing. The second one is just a joke to him. Seizing the third chance, he lunges and lands a brutal punch right to the attacker's ribs. The other two attack, but it's like throwing marshmallows at a brick wall. With a quick move, the fifth elder easily takes down both of them, but then he realizes he's left a gap in his defense. Behind him, one of the attackers rushes in, thinking he can take him out. The sound of something slicing through the air echoes, but the fifth elder stands tall, seemingly hit. The disciple brags that the sword was a gift from his dad, but the elder just laughs, grabbing the blade with his bare hand. With a flick, he snaps the weapon that meant so much to the guy. Then he grabs the attacker by the neck. The disciple gasps as the redhead lifts him up effortlessly. He slams him to the ground, smashing his head against the floor. With a grin, the redhead says, "These skills are just ridiculous." Feeling a presence behind him, the elder gets ready for another attack. But surprise, it's his brother watching his back. Another disciple charges in, questioning if the elder can handle it. His face twists as he realizes something wild. The hefty one, in a serious tone, reminds him he can't have any scars on his body. Getting ready to punch, he tells the disciple to think about his dumb choices in hell. Soon, the disciple feels the punch land on his face, but is shocked by how soft it is. Confused, the elder asks what he's staring at and if he wants more punches, confirming that the hefty one can't hit hard at all. Our protagonist watches, feeling disgusted by the chubby guy who looks like a pig. Then two people come up to attack him. They think the young man is dumb for turning his back and that he must use tricks to win. As they move in, they say, they'll be happy to take him out. But in a flash, the one in front just vanishes. Our protagonist pops up behind him, saying he's looking the wrong way. The disciple tries to plead for mercy, but his neck is already twisted beyond repair. His buddy, in shock, watches in silence. Coming back to reality, he tries to say something about the protagonist, calling him a jerk, but Kim cuts him off, tossing ketchup into the air. With that simple move, the top of his head is no longer where it should be. Then, in a cold tone, Kim glances to the side. Seeing others rushing toward him, he says, "This is getting boring." Annoyed, he thinks they're totally underestimating him, thinking he's an easy target. Kim, with insane agility, leaps at the attackers, finishing them off with pinpoint strikes to their weak spots. He moves so fast that all you see is his shadow flying through the air. One of the disciples spots a creepy figure creeping toward him. The attack hits so hard it slams his head into the ground. The gunslinger drops some wisdom on the attackers, saying they should know who they're up against before throwing down. We see the red-haired elder surrounded by a crowd dunking his head in ketchup. He thinks this whole mess is finally wrapping up. But out of nowhere, he sees a strike coming and dodges just in time. Lucky for him, he wasn't hit. The impact was so intense it shattered the ground around him. He gets back on his feet, ready to throw down, saying, "This is for the sect leader." With a frown, he calls out that surprise attacks show a total lack of honor. Suddenly, the fifth elder's vision starts to blur, a purple haze messing with his head. The ghost sword cult leader laughs, thinking the poison isn't that strong. He's gearing up to attack, claiming he'll send the elder straight to the last leader of the cult. But with a fierce look, the elder charges at the attack, using his hand to block and push back the blow. The energies clash, creating a massive shockwave. That sends warriors flying. Our redhead realizes the poison is messing with his internal arts. Kim watches the chaos, stressing about where his weapon is when it's most needed. Then he spots something running toward him, his little pup, Mongu, bringing his weapon back, and he can't help but cheer for the little hero. The young gunslinger knows winning without a weapon is tough. With only a few bullets left, he has to be smart, but he can't let this threat stick around. Looking up, he sees something weird coming his way. The fifth elder drops to his knees as the leader of the other sect boasts that the prestigious Blood of Death cult will finally dissolve, taking full control of the new cult. But he doesn't see the chains wrapping around him. Suddenly, two figures attack, wrapping steel around his neck. The third elder drops from the sky like a wild beast. The ghost sword cult leader begs for mercy, but his halves are split by a single strike of the short blade. The third elder says she wanted to show respect, but the vibe was off. It's their first meeting, and she introduces herself as Jin Huaran, captain of the Bloodsteel group. Our protagonist watches her with a cold stare, realizing she's odd, but might be more useful than the other elders. Pulling out her dagger, she's curious about the cult leader's skills. Her image blurs with speed, and she zips in front of the protagonist like lightning, eager to see the one who took down the former leader. Kim is caught off guard by her energy. The cut comes in fast. She thought she'd just scare him, but his quick reaction makes her think he didn't win by luck. Gripping her dagger tighter, she decides to go for him again. As if reading her mind, the protagonist warns he won't hold back on a second attack. The elder realizes he's holding the infamous weapon she's heard so much about. She thinks it's no big deal and decides to check it out, but suddenly stops, feeling a weird vibe coming from him. It's like the universe is telling her her next move could be her last. In front of her, that guy looks like the biggest demon ever. Even the bald eagle elder feels the weight of the moment. The elder quickly pulls herself together and says, "The strongest must lead the cult, so this test is necessary." Joining her hands, she asks for forgiveness for how she came off. Our protagonist stays quiet, thinking the elder is just a bit off. In the distance, we see the giant with his fallen axe, but he's still breathing. Clenching his fist, he wonders if he really passed out for a second, acknowledging the strength of the one who knocked him out. With icy eyes, Kim glances to the side when he hears someone call him a bastard. It's the giant, grinning confidently, claiming his leader will easily wipe them out and torture them to death. Looking down, he sees the one who was supposed to protect him lying there. Remembering the warning he got about this being a bad idea, he runs into the spirit of the former leader, who shakes his head in disapproval. Night falls and our protagonist insists he managed to sort things out. But what's coming next is still a mystery, and there are bound to be plenty of wild moments in the quest to conquer Morum. In this world, there are folks who can send you flying with a punch, and even split the ground with a sword. If these legends keep popping up, he's next on the chopping block. Kim pets his adorable puppy, staying quiet. He then strolls into another room, calling out for the bald elder. With a forced grin, the elder asks what's up with the leader. Kim wants to know where he can score intel on enemies and possible allies. The elder realizes this is a legit question and starts brainstorming, suggesting a trip to the Howl clan, which just confuses Kim even more, sparking his curiosity. This crew is made up of lower-class peeps like doormen and restaurant managers who can gather info from anywhere and sell it for a price. Kim gets the vibe and asks where to find them. The elder hesitates to let him go solo, but Kim insists he needs to hear the scoop firsthand and make his own call. The elder decides to pick someone to tag along. Kim's cool with it but tells the bald elder to leave out the third elder, leaving the bald dude puzzled since she's the one who knows the outside world. The redhead pops up next to him, and Kim says she's totally off her rocker. Before long, the fifth elder offers to lead him to the Howl clan, catching the gunslinger off guard, who then punches him in the ribs. The giant drops, drooling from the hit, and Kim warns him not to bring that brood along. A bit later, we see a lit street with a carriage. Inside, Kim and the fifth elder are on the move. He thinks he definitely asked not to include that idiot, and wonders why Jin Hworan is rocking those clothes. Flashback to the elders' meeting. The first elder says the leader needs an escort to the Howl clan. The third and fifth elders jump in to volunteer while the elder, looking bummed, wonders why it had to be those two. The girl claims it's only natural for her to go since she knows the outside world better. The redhead argues back, saying he should go because he's basically glued to the leader. Confused, Jin points out this makes zero sense, since the redhead has never had the guts to visit the Howl clan, which just makes the muscular one even angrier. They start bickering, both wanting to tag along with our protagonist. The elder sees the chaos and has no clue what to do. Kim thinks about how he'll take down that bald dude next time he sees him. Quickly, the coachman chimes in that it's getting late and they should crash there for the night. The street is buzzing at night, and someone greets the gunslinger asking how they can help. The redhead says they need a few rooms for the night, plus food and drinks. The host happily says it'll be a pleasure to serve them and promises to bring everything they asked for, just asking them to take a seat. But suddenly, someone kicks the door in like they're auditioning for a wrestling match. It's a guy from the Kunlun clan, drunk and on the hunt for a drink in an empty room. He demands they find him a room, even if it means booting someone out. The innkeeper replies that the last rooms have been snagged by the newcomers. The drunk dude, not recognizing the owner, tells him to scram and find another room. Then he spots something in the protagonist's crew. It's the stunning lady, the third elder. With a nasty look, he asks where she came from and introduces himself as a disciple of the first generation of the Great Kunlun clan. He insists she shouldn't hang with low-class folks and suggests she spend the night with someone as ugly as him. The fifth elder, annoyed, thinks the young man should stand up to that jerk, but he remembers when their argument got interrupted by a tea master. The other says they should escort the cult leader, but without causing a scene. Shaking with anger, the fifth warns that he'll find another place if this keeps up. The arrogant disciple asks why they're so riled up, but soon gets a powerful kick to the groin, throwing him off balance. The protagonist looks down at him, acting all superior. With a nasty expression, the arrogant disciple questions how he dares to do this and vows not to hold back, but a quick kick to his chin sends the ketchup he was about to eat flying. It was the protagonist who struck like a soccer star scoring a goal. In a serious tone, he tells him to call his buddies as he'll be waiting. Then he shouts, asking when the food will arrive because he's starving. Desperate, the redhead realizes he's in a tight spot. While he stays silent and tense, the third elder watches, thinking she couldn't stop the chaos. The companions of the arrogant disciple move in with weapons drawn, but the woman throws a knife in their direction. The knife slams into one of the disciples' chests. The other dude yells about the knife stuck in him, and turning to the elder calls her a coward. But before he can finish, a swift kick connects with his head, cutting him off mid-sentence. The third elder drops down smoothly, using her hand to support herself, and then delivers another kick right to the dude's collarbone. She hits him hard, making his head wobble like a bobblehead. With style, she stands back up. She calls out to her crew, hiding in the shadows. Two figures pop up, almost like they were summoned by magic. The women ask if the captain called them. She says they've got a lot of work ahead. She made sure they'd leave the guys alive, so they need to dose them with some hallucination drug to wipe their memories and toss them in a bar with some ladies of the night. After that, she'll dish out new orders. With a serious vibe, she says she needs to chat with the cult leader. The protagonist wonders if she's going to go after him again. The three are chilling at the table under a bright light. The woman asks if the leader knows who those guys were, and he says he doesn't. She explains they were disciples from the Kunlun clan, part of the Miram Alliance, who've messed with them before. If this news gets out, that nightmare could happen again, and she's not about to lose her cult, which she sees as family again. The protagonist stays quiet, deep in thought. Soon a memory pops up about his family. In a photo, he sees his younger self in a run-down orphanage, living in rough conditions. The woman insists they need to dodge any run-ins with the Miram Alliance at all costs. The protagonist, serious as ever, promises to keep that in mind no matter what. The fifth elder is surprised, since it's rare for the cult leader to agree so easily. Then the protagonist asks if the Howl clan is linked to the Miram Alliance. Getting a no in response, the woman notices he looks tired, but stresses the need for caution, assigning the fifth elder to keep him safe. The redhead asks where they're headed, and she replies that she'll make sure the evidence of what went down doesn't leak. She heads out, wishing him a safe trip back. A bit later, the elder calls for the leader, saying they've arrived. The protagonist jokes that they took forever. He steps into the spot where he'll meet the Howl clan. An old dude with lines on his face asks how he can help. The protagonist mentions the secret key. Hearing that, the old man sells some special booze. The old man pulls a hidden lever, inviting them to follow him. The group heads down the stairs, all chill. The old man tells them to step inside. When the doors swing open, they're greeted by the host of the Howl clan, a provincial manager. He thinks the Mongu clan is a bit weird. Once super prestigious, but now kind of a mess, so he figures it's not smart to be nice to them. With a cocky tone, he asks what brings them there. The fifth elder, annoyed, notices the host's arrogance as he looks down on them. The protagonist brushes off the tone and seems confused. With a grin, the manager points out he's being ignored and claims he's a pro at dealing with people like that. He starts to mock, asking if something about his vibe was off. The elder gets even more annoyed, sensing the guy wants him gone, but the protagonist just smiles and bursts out laughing. The manager laughs too, thinking the protagonist is loving the joke. Both are cracking up, almost in a creepy way, but soon the manager's smile fades and he says he's out since this is all pointless. The protagonist asks his ally if the clan really isn't tied to the Miram Alliance. Getting a yes back, he points at the arrogant dude in front of him and tells the fifth elder to take action. Getting the hint, the redhead steps up with a tiger punch, smashing the arrogant dude right in the face. His hit is so strong it sends the manager crashing through several doors underground. The protagonist walks up and says the gunslinger isn't dumb for laughing with him. A cult leader showed up personally, and the dude better show some respect. He turns to the old man, assuming he's the real boss. The redhead thought Kim acted out of emotion, but he didn't realize the old man was the true manager. Startled, the old man calls for the attacked manager, who really is the real one. The fifth elder looks even more confused, making a funny face. The protagonist realizes his mistake and chuckles lightly, showing off his wild imagination. In the distance, a masked guy watches the scene. With a strange technique, he starts to fade away like mist. Another person on the roof asks where the leader of the Mongu clan is right now. This disciple says he's chilling at the Howl clan in Branch Province with the fifth elder, but guess what? They had a little mishap on the way with the Kunlun clan's disciples. An important dude is all fired up, saying, "This can't slide," and sends a message to the protagonist's clan. The tea is that they're rolling up for a slow and painful showdown. Biting his lips in rage, the establishment owner is fuming over how they dared to mess with him and swears he'll never let it go. The protagonist steps in, saying, "That's enough," and tells him to sit down for a chat. The kneeling guy insists his lame existence doesn't matter, but the protagonist shoots back that he better sit or he'll get wrecked. Soon, the dude looking all fresh and clean asks what brings a cult leader to this dump. The protagonist says he wants the 411 on the sex vibing with the Miram Alliance, and the guy nods, saying he's in the right spot, asking if there's anything else. The protagonist wonders if there's any crew that can boost their strength. The guy raises an eyebrow, asking if he's planning to kick off a war. The protagonist, in a serious tone, asks if he really needs to spell it out, and the guy says, "Nay." The manager drops that this info is gold, and suggests a price of at least $2,000 in cash. He knows it's a lot, but thinks it'll keep the jerks happy. Kim decides to drop some wisdom on his buddy. Everything's useless when death's on the line, and the redhead gets it fast. The manager, confused, asks what they're cooking up and tells the cult leader he'll lower the price. The elder warns that the other dude better be ready to live in misery and lose a member, and Kim gives him props for catching on quick. The manager, sweating, says he can't just hand over the info for free. The protagonist replies that no one said anything about free stuff. They'll trade something. The guy, relieved, asks what he'll get. And the protagonist, rubbing his hands together, says he looks like a kid waiting for a Christmas gift. So the gunslinger is going to be a cool Santa and let the young man live in exchange for the scoop. The guy, tearing up, wonders who Santa Claus is and what Christmas even means. The protagonist then says, since they're cool with the trade, he urgently needs the info. The guy thinks he's worse than a demon and promises to send the deeds about the Miram Alliance, but he'll need to hunt down certain groups that could help the Mongu clan and will need some time for that. The protagonist asks how long, and the guy says about 30 days, but the gunslinger cuts it down to 1 week. Kim gives him just enough time to get the goods, but soon the guy asks if he can spill some tea about the Kunlun clan. He explains that this sect is part of the Taoist Alliance and hangs out at the top of a massive snowy mountain. Getting there is no walk in the park, and since it's a super closed sect, there's not much to know. But they joined the 9 great sects of the world because they're a small elite squad with some serious power. For some unknown reason, after the war against the blood cult, all disciples were sent down the mountain. The boy, deep in thought, figures that being a small elite group means they probably wiped out the members who disrespected them. He wonders if the higher-ups just lost interest in the weaker disciples, and the informant nods, saying that seems to be the case. The protagonist ponders if he should see this as a blessing or a curse, and orders him to send the rest of the info straight to the Mongu clan. But before he bounces, he asks what their relationship is now. The guy quickly replies that they're just business partners, which hits the protagonist right in the feels. He says that where he's from, when 2 people throw down, they end up becoming friends. Then he asks again what their relationship is at that moment, gripping the guy's shoulder tight, totally tense. The man realizes this feels like getting hit from one side while his buddy just watches and says they're allies. The protagonist turns and says now that they're friends, he needs to know he's ready to sacrifice his life for him, living for him instead. This makes the guy tense as he realizes he's made a deal with the devil. But the protagonist, in a chill tone, assures him he'll be under his care. After all, they're practically brothers now, and we can see the carriage rolling back to the clan. Our protagonist asks if the third elder is still in the district, and the answer is probably yes, since she usually ghosts everyone with her messages. Suddenly, something zooms past him, making the horses freak out and neigh like they just saw a ghost. The redhead yells, wondering what's going on, but it turns out to be a member of the third elder's squad who's all apologies, and says they had to block the street because of an emergency. He needs to bounce back to the Mongu clan for his own safety. No cap. Our protagonist catches what the vice leader Yan Nanak of the Bloodchain team said, and when he rolls up to the cult, asks who those people are. The letter says, the Black Blood sect is about to drop by, so they better gear up for a showdown. The bald elder asks if he's already spilled the tea on this sect, but our protagonist tells him to keep it short and spill the details. This crew is wrapped in rumors and is infamous for being a savage organization. They rake in cash through hits and don't hesitate to pull off brutal acts. No matter the age, gender, or beliefs, as long as the money's right. After the rundown, we see Kim deep in thought, probably plotting his next move. The bald man says they don't play by the rules, so they probably sent the letter with plans to take him out later, but no stress, he's got a plan up his sleeve. At night, the guard spots someone creeping up. One of them points his spear, barking orders to stop or face the consequences. The person moves slow, getting warned not to come any closer. The elder said if a sketchy person rolls up, the disciple should attack on sight, and that's exactly what he does, quick as a flash. But behind him, the newcomer looks ready to stir up trouble. He stumbles upon some fallen bodies and, sensing another presence, glances to the side, seeing arrows flying his way. But the arrows hit the ground as he vanishes into thin air. The disciple who shot the arrows looks up and spots the intruder, who quickly tosses something that looks like a smoke bomb. With his vision all fogged up, the disciple says he lost track of the target and thinks he went a certain way. Soon, word spreads that an intruder has breached the place, and the fifth and third elders sense something's off. A killer swaggers in through the front door. No fear. The one chilling on the throne looks a bit intimidating, and suddenly the doors creak open quietly. He says he thought an entire sect would roll through, but they only sent one person, which is a total letdown. The leader says he'll hear what the guy has to say first, but it's actually the third elder in disguise, questioning why he's there. The man turns his head, looking curious and confused at the same time. Soon, he starts messing with the assassin's cloak, as if he's searching for something cool. Meanwhile, behind him, our protagonist pops up and tells him that as an assassin, he should never drop his guard. So he decides to show how it's done. As he fires, he says that mercy is for the weak when facing enemies. The elders arriving on the scene shout for the cult leader, asking if he's okay. The first elder laughs, saying he saw this coming, as everything went according to his plan, and he's just that good, claiming they'd have issues if they hadn't taken out the leader. The others shout that it was a bold move. Suddenly, the third elder glances to the side, noticing something intriguing. As she approaches the body, she says there's something there, but the first elder warns her about the poison risk. She replies that it doesn't look like a vial, but more like a message. In the letter, the leader of the Black Blood sect, Cheon Beck, introduces himself and shows respect for the new cult leader, sending a fancy necklace that symbolizes trust between the sects. Realizing the blunder, the elder yanks the cord from her neck, confused, just like the other elders and the protagonist. The first elder's face shows pure despair, revealing how big of a mistake they made. The silence in the room is thick as a... Everyone realizes how serious this is. The protagonist, looking pale, turns to the one responsible, saying, "This is all part of the bald man's plans." The bald elder realizes he's really messed up and shouts for his master to chill, asking to be heard. He argues that the intruder caused chaos and took out some disciples, so the retaliation was totally justified. Suddenly, the guards, who seemed knocked out, ask if everything's cool, smiling and laughing because they're still alive. The elder tense realizes that the invader didn't take out any of his men, which only makes things worse. A meeting kicks off, and the second elder warns that if this mess leaks, the Muram Alliance will catch wind of their moves, which could totally mess up their plans for domination. The third elder chimes in, saying they need to own their mistakes and hit up the Black Blood sect to say sorry. The redhead slams his fist on the table, furious, asking why they should apologize to some random sect. A debate sparks with everyone throwing in their 2 cents. The bald dude raises his hand, eager to share his thoughts. He tries to pitch an idea that popped up from all this chaos. The protagonist says he can talk, but he better be ready for what comes next. The elder goes pale, sensing the threat from the protagonist's weapon. As he glares back, the boy thinks for a second and lifts his weapon, claiming it'll do the trick. Confused, the bald elder asks what he's talking about. With a sly grin, the protagonist chuckles, saying he'll take all the blame. The bald man is like, "How's that even possible?" The protagonist shrugs, saying it's not his problem. The elder just needs to beg and do whatever it takes to fix this. In shock, the bald man goes quiet. When he arrives at the enemy base, all he can think about is cursing the protagonist. His 2 buddies say they've reached the spot, a huge and fancy-looking house. One of the disciples watches from above, signaling like it's some secret code. And just like that, the doors to true chaos swing open for the elder, who starts walking in slow-mo, taking in the scene. Noticing everyone's wearing masks, the vibe gets super creepy. One of the masked guys says their master's in the room ahead. The bearded elder checks out the line of folks waiting for the master. When he opens the door, the leader greets him, saying he wrote the letter recently and didn't expect him to show up so soon. He introduces himself as the head of the Black Blood cult and mentions he worked hard to prep for this visit, hoping to smooth things over. He suggests the elder grab a bite to chill after the long trip. A bit later, the bald man laughs, saying he really caught him off guard since he's dealing with issues from his boss. Just thinking about that guy makes the elder's face heat up while his buddy tells him to chill since he's already getting tipsy. The bearded man shoots back that he's just a kid and should stay out of grown-up talks. Soon, the cult leader asks why the guy who sent the message hasn't come back yet. Feeling the pressure, the elder spills that there was an accident on the bridge to the Mongu clan, and despite their best efforts, they couldn't save him. Swallowing hard, he mentions that the unexpected outcome was the death of his prized disciple. The figure stays silent, not looking sad at all. The elder clenches his fists, scared for his own life, not getting the reaction behind the mask. But the leader laughs, saying he doesn't need to apologize since he's just a dude. Feeling bold, the bald man agrees, thinking he's being nice. The masked figure stands up and asks if the necklace sent made it to the master's neck. With a grin, the bald man confirms it did, saying he liked the gift. Looking out the window, the leader takes off his mask, revealing a wicked smile. He says it's better for his guy to be dead, but he would have liked to meet the master to apologize for what's coming. Confused, the elder, feeling less tense, asks what he means. With a smirk, the cult leader says they're now on equal ground since his precious subordinate is dead. The cult just lost its powerful master, leaving the bald elder even more baffled. He explains that the necklace had a poisonous candle, odorless and colorless. If someone hangs out in the same room too long, the poison seeps in, and after a day they'll be paralyzed. Eventually death will come for someone who can't move. Realizing how serious this is, the elder gets tense, knowing the necklace is with his master. Shouting, he demands to know how the man could pull something so twisted. The leader replies that he did nothing wrong, and if the old man is mad, he can just die. Calmly, the elder says dwelling on the past will only bring more unnecessary wounds. He thinks about leaving, but the leader won't let that happen. Confused and scared, the bearded man asks if the other has more to say. The leader insists he can't let him leave alive since the old man could spill the beans at any moment. Terrified, the elder screams that they killed his superior, who deserved it, and that's why he's on their side. He yells, questioning why his bodyguards are just standing there doing nothing. Looking at the dude who's supposed to have his back, he calls him an idiot for being more scared than the boss himself. Then we flash back to the past where the elder is begging his leader for mercy, saying if it's him, he's toast. But our main guy tells the old dude not to sweat it, totally confusing him. He promises to send the best bodyguard he can find, cause this plan is next level. Back in the present, the elder is wondering why he got stuck with such a useless bodyguard, claiming he's a goner in this mess. With a desperate shout, he screams for his doom to chill out. As the blade gets closer, someone starts cracking up, finding the whole thing hilarious. It's the other bodyguard who says nothing's changed. He's reminiscing about his glory days. As he pulls off the mask, he shows his real face and drops some wisdom he picked up from the ladies. His special vibe gives hope to the bald guy, who's even more shocked. The cult leader is totally stunned to see him there, asking how he even got there. The newcomer strolls up and asks why he never spends that cash. The answer is simple. He points a gun at the enemy. Soon, he says, no one gives out pricey gifts without wanting something back. Before all this chaos, we see the second elder knocking on the master's door, who lets him in. He rubs his hands and asks if he can check out the weird necklace Kim got earlier. Our main guy says sure, but he doesn't get why it matters. He just warns him to be careful because his little dog is playing with it. When the guy picks up the necklace, he checks it out and confirms he was right. Inside the accessory, there's something, an ultra-poisonous candle. Our main dude, going pale, realizes this wasn't a gift at all. The second elder says the first was spot on. Our main guy jumps up, worried if his little dog is in danger from the necklace. But the bearded dude reassures him, saying the pup wasn't exposed for long. It might take a bit to recover since he doesn't know what poison was used. Realizing the stakes, our main guy declares he's going to take out everyone who tried to pull a fast one on him, but the long-haired dude notices he's not listening, warning him not to go off the rails. Given how serious this is, he says it's dangerous. The second elder suggests a plan. The bald guy screams with joy, realizing our main dude is alive and claims he's safe. But Kim, with a look of disgust, orders him to bounce immediately, scaring him. The assassin laughs, thinking he'd really bite the dust from a simple poison. But now he'll regret being there. With a wicked grin, he says he'll wish for death sooner because of the poison. Our main guy, pumped, says he's being ridiculous because there's no reason to be hyped. He then mentions that what he's holding could take him out at any moment. The ninja, never seeing a weapon like that, thinks there won't be time to use it. Many have seen his secret technique, but none live to tell the tale. The pressure in the room rises, making the water in the basins ripple. This is the final move of the Black Blood sect called Constant Rain. He gets ready to unleash his last cut and end the fight fast. But in a blink, a bullet zips into the center of his forehead, taking him out instantly. Confusion is written all over his face as his body starts to fall back. Our main guy claims that his secret technique is just as deadly. Many have seen it, but none survived. This is a bond they share, and he's not bummed about it. Quickly, our main guy notices something and turns his gaze to the entrance. Soon, he spots a bunch of footsteps coming in, all armed with knives, ready to avenge their leader's death. Our dude is already used to this kind of chaos, and says those who want a painful end should stick close to his weapon. Soon, they all start charging in, and one by one, they're taken down by gunfire to save bullets. Our main guy also pulls out a blade, making ketchup spray from the enemies he slices with skill. He's a pro at this kind of combat, blocking hits while shooting. Taking advantage of openings, he finds a way to escape, carving a path through the guys trying to stop him. He moves like a snake, landing shots and precise cuts to the vital spots of his enemies. The bald guy hears the ruckus in the room and imagines our main dude is a total monster in martial arts. After a few minutes, the dude stands among the bodies. But when he looks around, he can only think, this is all super weird. Back in the day, he was all about those one-on-one fights, but facing a whole squad at once. Nah, that was rare. But there was always a simple way to win. Take out one of them to freak out the rest. After that, the pack of wolves fears a single sheep. He's trying to figure out which one to take out to make that happen. With only a few bullets left, he's got to play it smart. As he watches, he feels this crazy pressure in the air, making him shake with anxiety. Suddenly, boom, an explosion goes off, sending dust flying everywhere. We see someone banging on the table, totally annoyed. It's the third elder saying their lord better be strong or he's toast. The second elder chimes in, saying there's no need to stress about his safety, which just confuses her more. The dude quickly grabs his tea and hears he's got to take someone with him, but he's all about chill vibes, saying even if he's not great at fighting, his smarts help him realize even the muscle needs backup. The fifth elder rolls in and asks if our guy is good. The gunslinger wonders how he even got there, but here's the question about the blood on his face.